You have no doubt heard of the story about the job ad posted by the Tennessee Aquarium. It was online last week, and it was for a community engagement educator. And that's caused a lot of controversy for a number of reasons, and we turn to the expert about this. It is our attorney friend, Gary Massey with Massey and Associates. First of all, Gary, good morning.
Good morning.
Community engagement educator, and very high up in the ad it said, and I quote, "Only minorities need apply." Legal or illegal in your opinion?
In my opinion, that's illegal, Chip.
Why?
Because federal law since the 1960s has prohibited employers from hiring based on race or ethnicity or religion or national origin, things of that nature, gender. You cannot use that as the factor or a factor in determining whether or not a person is to be hired for a position. You simply can't say if you're of this ethnicity, you're not eligible for this position, unless you're hiring for like an actor playing a historical figure who was in fact of a certain race.
Right.
I mean, in these very tiny little loopholes or exceptions, that's not the case. But in most jobs, it's the case.
Okay, I ask you if this was, in your opinion, legal or illegal. You said illegal. Illegal of what? Discrimination?
It is discrimination. It is the classic form of racial discrimination. In this case, it's reverse discrimination. And so a lot of times people think that because it's not discriminating against a minority group that it's not discrimination, but the law doesn't protect minority groups, it protects individuals. And so every person in the United States has a right to be treated based on themselves as an individual and not based on what groups they're a part of. And so just because you're a part of a certain group, that doesn't eliminate you from job eligibility. But this ad would indicate that it does, that you are eliminated simply because you are the member of a certain group.
I know this next question sounds like it's coming out of left field, but suppose they were advertising, not the Tennessee Aquarium, but suppose an advertisement was put out there about looking for an exotic dancer for a gentleman's club or something like that. Would that same rule of law apply?
It would not apply in that situation as far as gender. It would apply as far as race, more than likely. But there are exceptions, where it's specific to the occupation. There's an occupational function exception, so that this characteristic is fundamental to the occupation itself. And so, and there's a fairly popular sports bar that emphasizes the shape of its waitresses.
Right.
And so men have filed suit for gender discrimination, that they're not eligible for those jobs, and they have lost because that's part of the business of that that's fundamental to that business. But for most businesses, the gender or the ethnicity of the employees is not fundamental to what the business is.
I know you deal with the hard, fast, black and white rules of the law, and this is more, I guess, of a subjective question, but why do you think the ad was phrased like that and published like that? Simple oversight, maybe, or were they deliberately trying to exclude a lot of potential applicants?
Well, I think what I would ascribe to their motives is that they want diversity in their workforce, and that's an important thing. And I am absolutely not against diversity. And the people that they have dealing with the public, they want to reflect the racial diversity of the people who are their customers. But telling an entire group of people you're not eligible for this job because of your race is pretty much without question a violation of federal employment law. You're not allowed, employers are not allowed to exclude people based on their race.
They could have easily said, don't bother wasting your time by applying for this position unless you are ... fill in the blanks. Are potential companies, businesses, whether they're in the hospitality industry like the aquarium or not, are they required now by law to put a disclaimer, for lack of a better word, on their job applications or on their websites?
I don't believe they're required to put those disclaimers, that we are an equal employment opportunity, employer. Almost everybody has that on there. But what they are prohibited from doing is putting on their application, what race are you? And asking people what their race is specifically, addressed by regulations, not federal statutory law, but the regulations enforcing the statutory law. And this violates that.
It certainly seems that way, and especially when you consider the speed in which the Tennessee Aquarium took that job advertisement down. Gary, we are up against the clock. Thanks to you. Thanks to our Andy Santoro, who helped put this story together yesterday. And as always, thank you for spending a few moments with us.
My pleasure.
Gary will be joining us here over the coming weeks. You join us after this commercial break, and I'll tell you, you can get in touch with Gary always. MasseyAttorneys.com. The website again, MasseyAttorneys.com.